Match in the World Cup of Pool. When the draw was made, on paper, this looked like being the best contest, and it gets us underway. That was a rousing reception for the Spanish lads. Will there be an overload of emotion, I wonder? They're up against a very talented pairing. The Filipinos, 25-1 to win this tournament with the bookmakers. If that isn't value, I don't know what is.
Team Spain wins the leg.
Yeah, absolutely, Phil. And of course, Spain, the defending champions, start off our 2023 World Cup. But like you said, a very difficult first match. And
thank you, Steve.
Another thing that's kind of difficult is we're going right to new felt, after the players have played all week in the Spanish Open, so they got to make some adjustments.
Yeah, this is a very different table to the one that was in centre stage for the Spanish Open. It's a wonderful Rasson piece of equipment. The Rasson tables used for all of Matchroom's team pool, including the Mosconi Cup.
Yeah, the pocket specs are still 4 inches, so very difficult. They will play a little easier here early with the new felt. But again, pool tables are different from one to the next, so these players, as great as they are, they make the adjustments pretty incredibly, but you got to believe maybe at some point, a little bit of a air between the ears will come in.
After all of the pomp and circumstance for the Spanish comes the hard work. This is the first time ever in the history of this tournament that the Philippines have not been seeded. It is the first ever winners of the event against the defending champions. The Philippines, with Francisco Bustamante and Efren Reyes, they beat the United States 13-5 in the first final in Newport, Wales in 2006. It's the ultimate test for the title holders.
Yeah, our first push out right here in our opening rack.
Team Philippines, it's your choice.
Trying to tie up that pink and the brown, because anytime you push out, especially at this level, you're going to take the worst of it. So definitely going to take this, kind of crossing the 2 over, bringing the cue ball off the side cushion behind the 8 and 9. If he hits this well, this could really cut off a lot of kick shots. He's overhit this by some piece. And we'll see how Fran's feeling immediately on a 2-7 combination. Very playable, but there is a lot of distance. I think he's supposed to attack here. The safety could get away for sure. And I kind of like leveling out here. He's going to hit it with a draw stroke. Really clean there, Phil.
That was off the sweet spot. Spain would love to replicate their first round victory on the way to triumphing last year. They beat Australia 7-1. In fact, they won their first 2 matches 7-1.
Yeah, another difference in our format. This is an alternate break tournament. So with Spain winning the lag, even if they go ahead and get out here, the Philippines will have the break in game number 2. And we saw at times in the Spanish Open, David really struggle. The tables were very difficult, though, so to be fair, many struggled, but kind of feel like just things click with him once he gets in there with Fran, especially after their win last year. I think it's just going to kind of lead towards a lot of confidence for David.
They act as a doubles pairing in individual competition. When one's playing, the other one is always in his corner, giving him advice and guidance and encouragement.
Yeah, and if you've ever really watched it, I think David shows it a little more than Fran, but David gets very nervous for Fran as well. Kind of like a parent watching their child. This is going to run underneath the 8 a little bit. So they got to make a decision here early. Probably keeps it pretty simple. Just coming 3 rails towards the right middle with the cue ball.
This from Alcaide to get Spain off to the ideal start. Hear the roar! Hear the roar. Get used to it if Spain have a deep run in Lugo. They draw first blood in a first round contest that could be a final. The World Cup, as we've heard already, is one of the highlights of the 9-ball pool tour year. Now, 15 countries qualified from the World 9-ball tour rankings. It's the only Scotch doubles event in 9-ball, so unique in that regard. You have to have chemistry. Rounds 1 and 2 are a race to 7, quarterfinals and semi-finals 9, the final 11. 30-second shot clock is in operation for the tournament, with one 30-second extension allowed per rack, per team, not per player. And as you might have seen just a few seconds ago, the balls will be template racked.
And excuse me on that, it is a winner break.
Thank you. It's second rack. Break. Team Spain to break, leading by 1 rack to 0.
It is alternate breaking, though, between the teams.
That will do nicely, Jeremy.
Yeah, that was a really just perfect timing. Cue ball came back into the 9-ball, and see how good or how well the ball's spread. That'll always show you. On a very good position here. Just got to avoid the purple with the cue ball playing position on the red 3. Should come 1 rail back. He may use 2 rails to get on the purple in the left middle. Oh, excuse me, he's got to play the pink first. So he'll come across 2 rails.
Going to ask you a question in a moment, Jeremy. I'll give you time to respond, though, during the course of the match. Come in whenever you feel like it. If you'd have played in the World Cup for the USA, who would have been your ideal partner? As I say, don't need to respond immediately. One thing I will say, I cannot imagine any team in the history of this event being quite as close, genuinely bosom pals, as these two.
Yeah, well, definitely of recent times. Maybe our first winners of the World Cup, Efren Reyes and Francisco Bustamante. They were pretty tight individuals, I'll tell you. And of course, you're probably right, though, when it comes to these two. No two tighter, but the ones they're playing are pretty good friends as well.
We've had teams in the past in this World Cup that have not seen eye to eye. Enemies teaming up for one nation. That's always spicy as well.
Well, and I tell you, I think anything out here gets magnified, right? I mean, just because the players want it so much. We've seen some teams in the past have a few kind of arguments at the table and away from the table. Funny position here just because the 9 ball. Don't really think they can come back short side on the 8 so easily. So he's got to come 2 rails above the 9. Looks like he has a little bit of an angle. May have to draw the cue ball back kind of underneath him where he's standing and then back out. A little bit of angle there, though.
If ever winning a rack on this kind of stage, under this kind of home expectation is routine, that was it. A break and run out. And Spain double their advantage. The defending champions off to a flyer. The Philippines are good pals, and before the contest, we had a chat.
Looking forward for it because you know it's our first time to play with each other. It's our dream to be here as partners. So now we're here. You know, we're really excited, and to be able to play with the defending champion in the first round, it's such a challenge for us because I know that to be able to win this event, you need to pass through to this team.
We've known each other since we were like 14 years old. So we're our childhood, and we spent together, play pool, we practice together. I mean, it means a lot for us.
Yeah, we really want to be like Efren and Django.
Yeah,
yes, they're really good friends since they're young. So when we want to make it that happen to us too.
We want to be like Efren and Django. That was the nickname of Francisco Bustamante. I think everyone who plays pool wants to be like Efren and Django.
Yeah, 2 of the greatest that's ever played. And I'll tell you, these 2 are making that mark as well. And now another good shot at the blue, too.
If you're watching this on Dodong in Spain, you'll be delighted with the way the hosts have begun. If you're watching in the Philippines on Tap Sports, you might be a little concerned.
Yeah, it's really just a little bit of a touchy mistake there on that push out in game number 1, and it looks like Spain's really here to get full punishment. Got a little tricky here. He'll stay offensive, playing the 3 to the upper right. Draw across short side on the pink. Good thing here is the purple's not far away, so you don't have to get a particular angle on the pink to get to the purple. So main thing here is no miss. And the speed got him there, so probably a safety coming. And this is where they are so much more comfortable, you might say, than some teams, offering advice. They really trust each other and kind of deliberate what are the options really well. Like Fran was saying, to double bank that ball and hold him behind the 6, where David's a little more comfortable maybe moving the 4 underneath the 9 and then coming behind the purple like this. And doubles is such an interesting dynamic because of different types of techniques and styles and whatnot, but I think the main one is you really don't want to let your partner down, so you can feel a little extra pressure at times. First look at James Aranas.
Oh, well played, the old Filipino weapon. The kick and almost stick. First look at James Norris, as Jeremy said, but also our first look at Aranas's cue. He didn't use it last week. It didn't arrive on the airport carousel, so had to borrow the cues of Johan Chua when he was playing in the Spanish Open. He'll be delighted to be reacquainted.
Yeah, absolutely. And Fran couldn't get a lot of speed on that kick shot coming that direction just because he had to add some side. And you think about, which teams do what the best between, the field, right? Like you might say, well, so far Spain has broke the balls really well, but you might say Shane and Skylar break the balls best. This team does that best. I think tactically, that's where Spain, to me, is the best team in that position. Really nice shot there from Chua.
This is a factual statement, not an opinion. In the history of the World Cup, the most successful nation for the Philippines. They've won it 3 times, runners-up twice, losing semi-finalists twice.
Well, that's what I was saying in the opening, that really just any Filipino team is, you kind of feel like going to be one of the favorites, seeded or not. And that was an interesting decision now. Most would come across there, but the difficulty on this table right now is going to be the speed control, your lines on the cue ball. I think for a minute the pockets are going to play, ooh, you can see right there, the pockets are going to play a hair more friendly to begin.
Just as well from a Filipino standpoint.
The Philippines are winning.
They prevailed in the safety battle. The kick and stick worked well for them. And Johan and James take their first rack from those two. The defending champions now lead only 2-1.
working? Does it not work when you just do this? I hope. Which one was it? Was it this one? Yeah, it's Procron, isn't it?
Last week, the lovely city of Lugo hosted a Roman festival. This place really is captivating. And at that festival, we caught up with Francisco Sánchez Ruíz.
I'm here with Francisco. We are in the centre of Lugo, Galicia, and it's all happening behind us. The locals are having this fantastic festival. Just what are they celebrating?
Yeah, it's an amazing festival. I mean, it's one of the biggest festivals in Spain, especially in Galicia. I think they celebrate because Lugo is the oldest city in Galicia, so that's why we celebrate a big festival like that.
And they really go to a lot of effort with the costumes and everything. I mean, it's a real showcase, isn't it?
They spend a lot of money in this kind of festival. You can see all the people, all the quality, so it's amazing, amazing man.
It's been fantastic to have pool in this location. We've had the Spanish Open, the World Cup of pool. How great has it been to be playing in your country?
Yeah, I mean, the World Cup of pool is a special tournament for me, also for David, because we have so much illusion to win this title. Last year we won in England, so this year it's like a dream if we win here in our home. So it's going to be like a dream.
Is there a little bit more pressure on you two?
I mean, yeah, of course, we have more pressure because we play in front of our people, so it's going to be difficult. But we try our best. We try to stay focused, run around, and get everything.
Francisco, I just want to know: are you going to be bringing your gladiator energy to that pool table?
I think we have more motivation because we play in home, we play in Lugo. So we play like a gladiator for sure.
Well, best of luck, great talking to you, and enjoy the rest of the festival.
Thank you.
Galicia is glorious, and I'll tell you what, that festival was simply
Team
fantastic.
Philippines to break, trailing by 2-1.
Just a short history lesson. The Roman Empire conquered Lugo in 13 BC. Paulus Fabius Maximus marched into town, and those Roman walls remain intact to this day.
Yeah, pretty nice break off from James. A little bit of a kiss on the cue ball into the 9. We'll see that time and time again this week. Definitely a makeable ball, but this is where it starts to get a little tricky. When you have some distance, you need to put some speed on the shot, maybe a little side spin. Wow, how pure was that? Really an effortless swing and perfectly struck.
That was as pure as the combo that got Spain started in the opening rack to the same pocket.
Yeah, absolutely, Phil. And one thing we saw about Chua in the Spanish Open, he really started to show his game, and I think he's going to be a perennial favorite moving on in a lot of events, especially once he starts to get very comfortable. Speaking of comfort, maybe that's the word that means the most when it comes to the World Cup and the doubles. I don't know if the 6 plays. You may have to just kind of kill the cue ball. And if it's any kind of tight, well, you don't want too much angle. I don't seem too concerned. So the 8, I think, at first glance, looks like it's impeding both the 6 and the 7. But I think there is just enough room. Well, both teams have come prepared.
We are just about to see the scores all level up.
Team Philippines wins the
A
rack.
break and run out from Spain in the second rack, a break and run out from the Philippines in the fourth. This is exactly what we thought it would be. Tight, tense, impossible to call. James Aranas and Johan Chua are representing the Philippines, who've won this event on 3 occasions, including in 2013 in London, Dennis Ocolio and Lee Van Corteza. Also in 2009 in Quezon City, they won on home soil. Efren Reyes and Bustamante prevailing over Ralph Suke and Torsten Homan in the final, 11-9. 3 teams have won in their home nation. So it is possible, but Spain, they've got a tiger by the tail, Jeremy.
Yeah, absolutely. And both teams, though, like, so impressive to come out firing like they have, and looks like it just,
Team
at
Philippines to
first
break.
glance, like
To
one
Rexy.
mistake may make all the difference. All right, missed the one in the side, did get the 8 down, and a very nice look at the 1 ball with the 2 near.
Look at this green 6, just nudging the 1, doing the Philippines a massive favour.
And the balls are breaking nice so far, so at least to start this World Cup, it seems like it's been a lot of offense. A little funny here, I think, maybe. Might not want to roll this ball, may have to just stun it, we'll see. Definitely going forward with the cue ball. Boy, and really James, who played a pretty good Spanish Open, but what kind of breath of fresh air does he have? Finally, his cues show up. Probably feels like $1 million.
And we mustn't forget that Johan Chua, although he didn't in the end go all that deep, beat Josh Filler 9-1 in the Spanish Open, so that underlines how good these two are.
Yeah, a little fun in cueing here over the purple. Just keep it simple with the pink kind of hanging up in the far right corner. Yeah, he's got a choice here, but probably comes up the right side of the table with the cue ball, playing the purple in the top left. Just wants to stay off the rail.
Conditions look pristine.
Yeah, and it's weird because, you know, sometimes the players will struggle with that, to be fair, just because it's so slick and, you know, you're not going to recover your table that you practice on every day or every week or whatnot. So it breaks in a bit. It just shows you how amazing these players are and how quickly they
Extension
adjust.
called.
And understanding the slick table, that's a big part of it. Just going to draw back here. No reason to get too thin on the 7. A lot of people would say, let's play the angle there, but you got to have no problem playing the 9 up long, which I think that's going to be the case here.
These two Filipinos are world-class pool players. They also want to be party poopers and get Spain out of the way.
Yeah, interesting enough, if they were to win here and Spain B was to win their first match, they'd play Spain again in round 2.
Right now, the Philippines living up to their awesome reputation. They were 2-0 down. They lead 3-2. That said, though, with opposition like Spain, they will be taking nothing for granted. Francisco Sánchez Ruíz, the runaway leader in the World 9-Ball Tour rankings, the World 9-Ball champion. And what about David Alcaide? He's got a fine CV also. He's been involved in winning Mosconi Cup teams, and individually, the highlights of his career, winning not one but 2 World Masters titles. I think overall, Jeremy, we've said this before, overall this World Cup has more potential winners than any in the past.
Yeah, really hats off to Matchroom and everything they've done with the World 9-Ball Tour, and I think just putting the players in a great position to play their best pool and continue to improve. Just kind of like the Whirlpool Masters, I thought it was the best field ever this year. Okay, constant kiss on the 9 with the cue ball coming back over, and there's that green 6 again. Nothing offensive here, though, so we'll see Spain back at the table.
And you mentioned the Whirlpool Masters. Aranas, who broke off there, now accustomed to playing in this one-table situation, having been in the World Masters and a semi-finalist.
Yeah, absolutely. James just got better and better, it seemed. Okay, you can see just Spanish crowd wanting their #1 team to get just any kind of look at the blue 2. Pretty smart shot there, not trying to, you know, if you try to get the snooker for sure there, you may leave the 2 a little too close to where it could become an offensive shot. Understanding he wasn't going to get the snooker, he brought the 2 down the table trying to make things difficult.
Just had a look there. The 2 could possibly sneak in, but from distance, it is such a narrow gap past the black 8 ball. It would need superhuman accuracy.
Yeah, what people don't realize is when the ball out in the middle of the table, sometimes that's a hard ball to play safe with. When you get it near the rail, it's easier to have some judgment on some things, and not sure what he's doing here, really. Oh, really good. Really good. And how accurate has Fran been so far? I mean, if he shoots that 2 into the purple and loses accuracy, the 2 comes loose somewhere and possibly some kind of straight in shot and trailing 3-2.
With Scotch doubles, you can have a very small number of shots, and when it's your turn, you need to be ready.
The extension, please.
Yeah, I was happy to see that Elliott is getting another chance for Great Britain after, what did he get, 1 shot last year, something like that? Oh, man, Philippines, they got some sleep last night. I'll tell you that, they're playing well. That was definitely by design.
Great T-shirt, I think, for the Filipino pool players to wear. We can kick, because they most certainly can.
Yeah, rail first. Pretty unreal. You know, sometimes we talk about the beeps, right, at the 5 seconds. And occasionally it can really help you, right? You just go ahead and pull the trigger and you don't think, and what a shot David came with there.
Almost the pool gods scuppered it. Thankfully, the cue ball just caught that near point of the side pocket. Yeah, Filipinos can kick. The Spaniards can jump.
Okay, you couldn't do a whole lot there, being near the rail with the cue ball and not a lot of angle, so kept it simple. We'll see David kind of drag the cue ball down the table here. Watch it start out with bottom spin, end up rolling right before the Object ball. Very good.
Cohesive unit, these defenders.
Team Spain.
What a way to stop a mini rot. Spain are back on level terms against the Philippines. To no one's surprise, this is turning out to be one terrific contest in match one of the tournament. Lugo hosted the Spanish Open last week. That concluded dramatically. It was a brilliant final. Dang Junhui capturing the title. And I'll tell you what, talking of brilliant, how about the shot that gave Spain their third rack of this first round match in our next event, the World Cup of Pool. The two ball jumped in, the cue ball just about avoiding a scratch that would have been entirely unjust. And from that David Alcaide brilliance, Spain were able to equalise. Still no clearer as to who will win this. As I said before, it's a first round match that could easily be a final. No one would raise an eyebrow if that was the case.
Again, they're breaking beautifully. A little thin here on the blue too, but you gotta believe they're gonna figure some way to keep the Filipinos in their chair. Looks like to me he can get enough draw on this to avoid the 9, maybe come one rail back over, kind of where the cue ball's at now. They really try to get into it. They maybe just got to avoid the 6, I think. When you come one rail across, you don't want to rub the 6. Could unluckily kind of carry with the cue ball. I think it just got there, Phil. So this is where the new cloth really kind of varies, kind of different than what we saw towards the end of the Spanish Open. If you overhit this, the draw may not grab so well, and that side pocket may come into play. So he's kind of smoothed this across a little bit. Yeah, like that. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. Maybe just enough.
I'm gauging the reaction of the crowd behind, and they were okay with it. Yes, the path is there.
Caught it a little thick to the hole, so caused some little travel on the cue ball, and now it's near the rail. Probably misses mark by a good foot. So now going to have to change plans a bit. Play a little short side on the brown 7. I'll tell you, are these two teams showing the rest of the teams what it's going to take to win matches? Because it's been pretty perfect pools so far.
Yeah, just what I was thinking. The Spanish Open final was hugely entertaining, highly unorthodox, unconventional. Lots of mistakes, lots of drama. The next match centre stage has just been pure quality.
Yeah, and now a little situation has developed just with that stroke there. It's gotten on the rail first off, a little flat. So he's going to have to roll forward just to get a pretty good shot on the 8. He certainly can't take his eye off this 7.
Would that have dropped late on in the Spanish Open? You have to seriously question it. I think he was concerned as the 7th ball was going towards the pocket, but in the end it fell in comfortably. As you said, Jeremy, right at the start, day 1.
Even there, we saw that one have a bit of a rattle, and cue ball's going to stop just in time. And both those balls, the 7 and the 8, just give it a day or two. They probably stand up here as well.
Cue ball and object ball close together, which adds a layer of difficulty. But not too difficult for FSR. Spain back in front. They lead 4-3, and there in the Spanish jersey is Francisco's proud father, who actually competed in the Spanish Open last week. What a moment it must be for him. What a moment for all 4 players involved. I can't remember a first-round match in the World Cup that's held so much significance. This is the 7. That was wide, wasn't it? Very wide, but it went in, toppled in, as did the 8.
Yeah, I thought the 7 was going to be okay. I thought maybe the 8 may hang. And really, I know it looks straightforward, but a very nice shot here, stretching with the extension on the 9 ball to break the tie and put Spain back ahead.
And in these race to 7 sprints, that winning line looms large quickly. They only need 3 more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really hasn't been much defense. There's been a couple safeties, a couple push-outs.
Just make sure that's switched off, please. Thank you.
Really, both teams just playing exceptional and taking it on. Oh, how are they breaking, by the way? No, they're not going to get a real good shot at the blue 2, but really no worries so far, pocketing the 1 among other balls. Does have a cross-side bank on the blue 2. And this is where he'll kind of size up the safety and see if he really likes, you know, getting the safety done. If not, he may attack here. Now looking at a cross corner bank, maybe a bit of a two-way shot with the safety in mind as well. None of the safeties sit so easy, hitting the left side of the 2 or the right and kind of trying to run safe somewhere.
Extension, please.
They may end up going for this bank.
On such decisions, do matches pivot in this tournament?
Well, it's funny that, you know, David and Fran are very comfortable being very vocal with each other and deciding options. Watch out, 9 ball. Oh my. I don't think the kiss shot is there. I think they would have to hit the 2 too thin and it still would send the 9 into the bottom rail. But what I was going to get at is, you know, they're speaking Spanish, right? So you got Spain B, who would certainly understand. But if you're talking about a lot of options and you're going to take on the shot.
Extension, please.
You know, Team Philippines actually understand Spanish for the most part. Most of the people from the Philippines, the players with the Spanish descent. Going for the bank here, maybe. This is going to come back down. Now, how far is the question? Looks like it's going to serve up a shot.
Without being too harsh, that was the weakest shot of the match.
Yeah, just caught it too thick. Wanted to actually go for the long rail bank and try to play the cue ball long on the 3, maybe a backdoor safety. Now, the good thing for Fran here, if he cuts at this, it looks like the 3 has got the path of the scratch kind of covered up. And normally when you're on new felt, especially changing tables as well from the Spanish Open, you're going to have to make a bit of a shot here and there because you're going to lose the cue ball at times. That's just part of it.
You know, when you watch David Alcaide, and I have for many racks at the recent UK Open and also in the Spanish Open last week, I have to believe this statement. The shot clock is his friend. He seems much better when he's forced into making decisions by the time restriction.
Yeah, I think you could say that about a few players and a few of them that are going to be playing in this World Cup. I think Kazakhstan kind of falls into that position as well. There's a very, very strong team that's reunited this year and has won this a couple times in Mario He and Albin Ocean for Team Austria. Lots of different interesting kind of subjects going on in this 2023 World Cup.
Yeah, and Albin Ocean, for all of his greatness, needs a good tournament. Of late, by his standards, he's been in a slump. Of course, the shot clock never a hindrance for Sánchez Ruíz, who plays at a very brisk pace.
Team Spain wins 2-1.
It all started with David Alcaide's jump to pop the 2 in rack 6. Spain now back 2 in front for the first time since 2-0. Are the defending champions about to get off to a winning start? So what is up next if this has whetted your appetite? It is the Greeks. Standing, Nikos Economopoulos. Now playing at the table originally was Alexander Kazakis. They're playing last year's runners-up, Singapore, Aloysius Yap, and his new partner, Sharik Saeed. Tony Han was part of the Singapore team last year that came so close to lifting the trophy. Not exactly an awful lot of mistakes made by the Philippines, even though they find themselves in a spot of bother.
Leading by 5 breaks to 3.
Yeah, that last situation that James had wasn't easy by any means, just didn't hit it quite like he wanted. Oh, watch out. Oof. Would have been unlucky a little bit with the scratch. The players take a little chance with the cut break. Cue ball zigzagging across the middle of the table. I think the 2 did open up.
That near point of the side pocket has been very kind to Alcaide. But in general, as we've said, the Spanish have been on point. I've been impressed.
Yeah, and I don't think he has much of an angle here. You can notice he's got a little bit, so he may be able to draw at the 3 or kind of underneath it. They would want to play for a 3-9 combination. That's a bit dicey. Definitely has some angle now. Out here on the new slick felt, the ball's cut a little easier, so got to stay heavy on this. Oh, he stayed too heavy. And you could tell just the timing was off on the swing a bit, and I think they solved a big problem also, moving the red 3 a little.
Vitally important the Philippines take advantage of this unexpected visit back to the table. If they don't, Spain probably will be on the hill.
Man, he's got to kind of kill this. I think he's going to hold for the pink in the left middle. We've had 3 lead changes already in this short race to 7. Philippines wanting to make it a 4th.
I think the sprint distance for the matches in the first couple of rounds, I think that's what makes the tournament. Keeps you on the edge of your seat all the time. Not comfortable for the players. Fantastic for those of us watching.
Yeah, not so comfortable a position shot here on the purple. Not a lot of angle. So now looking Johan really kind of telling him, just get me up into this position. Probably some stun here with the hair left.
Please.
Yeah, everything's set up for immediate drama. Single elimination. Doubles. Oh, he got a lot out of that. Maybe much more than he expected. He's going to get a little straight on the green 6. Looks like he failed just underneath it, so they should be all right. And James, as we talk about a lot, you can tell he's nervous to start, but I tell you, Johan looks very comfortable to me.
Yeah, I think generally he has the superior temperament of the two. Sometimes heavily hyped matches disappoint. Not this one.
The team of the Philippines just putting you up.
FSR missed the 2-ball, the initial chance in rack 9. Muted applause from the crowd because Spain's lead is now only 5-4. The heat is on in Lugo. The actual outside temperature nowhere near as warm as it was at the weekend when it was in the 90s, the low 30s centigrade. Boy, was it hot on Saturday in here. The heat now is more figurative.
It's your break here. Yeah.
The Filipinos breaking off after winning rack 9, trying to draw level. Then it would be a best of 3.
Yeah, you can see some very concerned faces on Team Spain.
Thank you. It's rack 10.
Cisco
Team Philippines to break. Trailing
maybe
by 5 legs to
processing
4.
that 2-ball, but it's got to leave it behind. A dry break there, and our first of the match.
And what an inopportune time as far as the Filipinos are concerned. Can he get through to the 1? He certainly can see the 1, but can he get through to the potting angle?
Yeah, I'd say the blue 2's got that cut off, and not sure how much of the 1 they can get at. If they can get at all of it, they'll certainly take on the shot now versus pushing out, I would think. Maybe bang the 1 around table.
Yeah, Jeremy was right. There was no way through there to pot it, so tactics will be needed.
Yeah, and when the 1's close to the cushion and you really don't have much angle going into it, you could easily get a double kiss if you try to knock the 1 away, and I think that's the concern between the Spaniards.
The extension, please.
Muy arriesgado, está muy pegada. ¿Sí? Y lo más seguro que abra después. Vale, por eso hay que tirar esto. Push. Lo que yo te he dicho.
Shot called.
Aquí. Y tirar a meterla o pues tirar a defender. A defender, fina. Pegada, dejarla un poquito separada aquí.
Pero ahí manda corta,
If
manda
they
larga.
roll
Sí.
out to the side rail and leave really good cueing, they may end up
Team Philippines. It's your
taking
choice.
on this shot and going offensive with a long rail bank on the 1.
Deja un poquito más para acá. Ahí creo que nos van a mandar a tirar a nosotros.
Vale, pues se la meto.
Me cago en Dios.
They've been conversing in Spanish, of course, but the universal language of pool. They turned to the referee, Marcel Alcaide, and said, push. I think that was the sensible thing to do in those circumstances. There he is. Absolutely terrific official in both pool and snooker.
Yeah, I like the push out. Just, you know, you got to gamble playing 9-ball. That's how it is. Things
Team Spain, please play again.
are going to be funny sometimes, but you don't want to take on maybes when you don't have to. And that opening shot was a little dicey. And I'll tell you, they may attack here, and I'm really shocked.
Yo creo que es mejor, más difícil.
You know, if you don't like a safety, that's one thing, but I kind of like the bank. Yeah, it's very surprising to me that I thought the Philippines would take that shot on.
And in some circles, that length of table bank has come to be known as an Alcaide, because he knocked in the 9 length of table on a bank to win his second World Masters at the expense of Alexander Kazakis.
Yeah, controversial situation in that Whirlpool Masters, and
The extension,
Kazakis
please.
could have taken on a bank himself, elected to play safe. Thing is, there is no real safety or snooker when 1 ball on the table, and David
A mí, yo no tiraría.
made a
Tú
pay
tiras.
with one of the shots that everyone
Tirado
will
allí, la
remember.
banca aquí.
Que no me gusta esa, tío.
Vale, pues entonces lo que tú tiras, Fran.
You see
Venga,
him raise the
céntrate.
hand,
20 segundos.
not knowing exactly what he's saying. It's kind of like more or less what you like. I'm good with whatever you like. I think he's going to go offensive. He's going to come 2 rails below the 5 balls on the bottom of the table. Ooh, ooh. Little body movement there.
The 2 missed again by
Digo,
FSR.
digo, sí, a ver, también puedo defender. Y es que la
Yeah. Both the Filipino players, very good jumpers of the ball.
Extension called.
Now, I've always felt the Rassen jumps a little easier, So with nerves going, this could get very, very airborne. Perfectly struck. Couldn't hit that any better if you weren't jumping the ball.
With regard to having his own cues, you know the old phrase, absence makes the heart grow fonder. I think now he's got them back. He's loving life.
Absolutely. And in an interview, I really think these two genuinely like each other. Wow, powering up, going through the 9. Yeah, I think they're just very, very comfortable. When you're comfortable with someone, you don't realize, and they don't realize actually, that they're very good at calming you down. The right thing to say, maybe the right kind of selections, and maybe got a little funny here. He's got to hold the ball so he can get on to the cut on the 6, which may just barely go by the 9.
Sánchez Ruíz is the lord of all he surveys on the ranking list. But in this match, he's missed two balls that have been severely punished. It was 2-2, it was 3-3, and now it is parity again at 5-5. Much like the 3 rivers that flow around Lugo, momentum is ebbing and flowing.
And you can see them still maybe talking about that situation. And there's the 2 ball we talked about, just a little thick there. Both the 2 balls he's missed have been on the thick side. And I wonder, just, you know, was David saying, hey, let's play safe here? And you could see him kind of raise the hand. And I think that was more of you do what you like. Now a very high stress situation in match number 1.
I think it's worth remembering that the Filipinos have been responsible already in the match for a couple of break-in run-outs. If they do that here, that's that.
Yeah, absolutely. And a dry break in our last from Chua. Now Aranas on the break here in game number 11.
Team Philippines to break. 5 breaks each.
Got the 1 down. The cue ball's tracking towards the 2. Going to get a little thin on the blue 2, but definitely going to be shootable. So this is all speed control coming back and forth with the cue ball. A little shake of the head and a little awkward cueing, but not too bad. And he's got an angle going away from the pink a little bit. I'm not so sure how easy the pink in that right middle is, so We talk about with the tight pockets, of course, how tough the sides always are. A little more comfortable shooting in the corners, but the four's definitely playable on the sides. Main thing here, stay off the. Oh my!
Now that was discernibly back-cueing.
Yeah, you kind of saw the shoulder go with it. It's hard to tell on the slow-mo, but definitely dropped the back elbow very early. Yeah, and something you don't see from James very often.
Extension called.
I tell you, I like David shooting this shot, and not just because of, Franz had a miss or two. David very good from distance with the draw or stun. Either one's a playable shot here. I think he's got to draw the ball. He's going to go forward. Got to get a lot into this.
Similarities between that and the previous shot. The shoulder was involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Precious few mistakes in this match, and then two in succession.
And really, we're going to have a couple more, at least one more big game, no matter who wins this, maybe two more. And a lot easier for the Philippines if they get out here. James can kind of leave that mistake behind, and we'll see how Spain feels if and when they get back to the table. Little things like that make a difference, though. Ending up short on such a routine play here. Now he's got to work the ball across the table for the 6 and just make sure he stays off the rail with the cue ball. But those little shots right there make a difference, especially when the pressure starts getting on. He held the ball nicely. Looks like he's going to draw out of the corner. No, he's going to go with a high ball. That looks perfect.
Just looking at the scoreboard, not for confirmation of how it sits, but for how many seconds he's got in hand. Several. No mistake from Johan Chua. Spain, the defending champions, have their backs pressed firmly against the wall. The Filipinos, we always thought they would be tough to beat. So it's proving two balls missed and a 4-ball missed by Spain in the last 3 racks. And that's proved costly in all of them. So this is the recent Roll of Honour in the World Cup of Pool, which began life in much more humble circumstances in Newport, Wales in 2006. Europe have had a lot of success in recent years. They have provided the last 3 winners. In fact, Austria in Leicester in 2019. We missed 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Germany came back at Milton Keynes in 2021. Christoph Reiches and Joshua Filler beating Darren Appleton and our own Carl Boys in the final. And we know that Spain hold the trophy, but for how much longer?
6 racks to 5.
Yeah, they have to sit and wait and just kind of pray for an opportunity. Good thing for them is they have a lot of people in the stands praying for that same opportunity, and I think he has a little edge on the one. We'll get another look here in a moment. Interesting that Chua has missed the one on the side a couple times, but made other balls, and I think he can make this. Now, what can he do with the red 3? I don't think he can get the breakout, really. I think he's got to come above and play safe.
It's not about this, I know, but of the 4 players, Chua has been the most dependable.
Yeah, he's looked really good. Pretty much every shot's been right on point, and you know, Spain isn't going to get probably the greatest shot in the world here in a moment, but I think they'll be happy to know they're going to get back to the table with what most likely is going to be a kick shot of some sort. He wants to use the 7 to stop the red 3. Took a little gamble there, but I think it was definitely the best play. You would think he's going to kick 2 rails off the right long rail to the top rail and then at the 3. This is also where the
extension called.
The new felt makes things hard to judge.
Extension, please, off by the Philippines as well. Thanks.
You'd like to go 1 rail at this ball and really try to make it, but I think the brown 7 is causing problems with that option. Should be 2 cushions. Got a chance to still make it. Doesn't want to hit the bottom side of it, though. Could scratch.
A collective groan went around the bleachers.
Yeah, and with the other balls there were some possibilities, but also they caught to stop the movement on the red 3, and James has overhit this by some piece. Got the cue ball near the rail. Now he's got to get into the ball a little bit, can't just kind of hold it there, and this shot will tell the story.
Spain have won the Football World Cup with the help of the great Severiano Ballesteros. They've won golf's World Cup. But you can see FSR shaking his head. He realises a big mistake has got to be made here. Otherwise, defending this title, they're going to be going out at the first available opportunity.
Well, you got to like what Johan did there, because there was a funny angle to draw for that ball, knowing your partner. He said, don't worry, just lay me underneath this. I'll make it.
It's the fault of Carl Boys. He drew the Philippines against Spain. He'll need security to get back to the hotel if this result goes the wrong way.
And the Philippines, like I said, if Spain B goes on to win, Philippines would play them in the second round if they go on to get out here with 3 balls left. He just kind of laid up. Didn't want to make a big mistake, trusting his partner. We all all know they're a dangerous team, right, Phil? But what about after getting some confidence in the opening match here?
Superb 8-ball met with stony silence.
The Philippines wins the rack.
It is sunny outside, and the reign of Spain is over. The defending champions bow out in the first round. Instead, the mighty Filipinos, with great history in this tournament, progress. They will play Spain B or Saudi Arabia in the round of 16. What a match to get things underway.
Welcome back to the World Cup of Pool, where the Philippines have knocked out reigning champion Spain in the opening match of the competition. 7-5, the final score. And we can hear from the Filipino players, they're talking to Jeremy. We'll hear from them in just a moment, but first of all, we'll take a quick look at the match stats. Carl Boys is alongside me. I mean, Carl, what a nail-biter of an opening match. What did you see in that?
Yeah, it was fantastic. You can't miss balls in a race to 7, and that was the difference. Key shots. David missed a tricky 3-ball, but it was the 2-ball from Francisco to go 6-3 up. You just can't do it in a race to 7. Philippines, I thought they played very well. They was up against it. But I think overall, Spain just couldn't handle playing in Spain.
There is just so much pressure, isn't there, when it is these shorter races, those winners opportunities, and with this winner breaks format, you saw it at times, didn't you, from both Francisco, Sánchez, Ruíz and David Alcaide, the frustration that they just couldn't get back on the table when they did make those mistakes.
Yeah, it was a very close match. We kind of felt it was going to go that way. I thought Philippines held on really well because things were going against them, things off the break. But in the end, it was just the fact that they missed too many balls.
OK, well, we can hear from the Philippine team. They are speaking to Jeremy now.
Well, tough draw, guys, the defending champions. Y'all made it look easy. How'd y'all feel out there?
Well, to be honest, for me, of course, I'm so happy that we survived against the defending champion. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Johan, you looked very comfortable out there. I believe, anyways, your first World Cup. How'd it feel?
All right, this is my second one, Jeremy. Yeah. But yeah, you know what? We're just gonna enjoy every moment of it, because I believe that every team, if you're gonna win this event, you're gonna pass through them. So having them in the first round is such a challenge for us. So we just enjoy every moment of it, and yeah, it worked out so good.
Well, y'all have a few days off till round 2. Any thoughts on what you're gonna do?
I'm gonna practice and enjoy, eat and sleep.
Well, there you go. Good luck, guys.
So happy faces from Team Philippines. They are through after a 7-5 victory.